Okay, I hope everybody's well today. We're going to begin by sitting up nice and straight in our seat. We want to begin by inhaling and exhaling, connecting again more to the body and how it impacts the breath than to the thought of thinking. We want to do our best to just follow the breath. Moment by moment, we're going to begin to follow the journey. Think about how you feel right now. Notice what's on your mind and see if you can just start to let that stuff go intentionally. And see if you can also just accept yourself as you are right now. If your thoughts happen to be in different places, see if you can just accept that. If your mind is focused, just accept that. Whatever it is, see if you can just be open to it. Also, want to make sure that in your seat that your vertebrae is stacked all the way up to the nape of the neck. Notice how each inhale and exhale kind of goes in between each vertebrae in the back body. Maybe adjust the body so that the belly is just tucked in a little bit and you shift your weight and your body up, just so that you have a clean passageway for the breath to follow. Also want to notice the area that you're sitting in right now and get a sense of what it feels like. Notice maybe the temperature. Notice the sounds in the space. Notice any smells that might be distinct. Start to just notice how you feel in the space. Important to get a sense of just your moment by moment experience as a complete person. Just as you are right now. You're basically taking stock, taking temperature. Starting to slow down the thought process so that you could be more present. In our next inhale, we're going to bring our awareness and attention to our feet. With your breath, bring your attention down to your feet, following the breath from the tips of the nose to the tip of the toes. And just notice the process for you. As you start to breathe in and out, you may have this intention in your mind's eye to make it to your feet, but you might feel like it didn't get there the first time or the second time. See if you can just be aware of this process and continue to work towards your feet and your breath reaching your feet. Notice in your mind's eye what your feet look like. Maybe bring an image of your feet into the practice. If you wiggle your feet on the floor, you may even get a sense of what it feels like to have your feet pressed up against the floor beneath you. This could help you to bring your breath to the feet. And we're going to continue with process today. So we're going to start at the feet and we're going to go through a body scan. This time it's going to be a thought process. So anything that comes up for you in your feet, I just want you to notice. Doing your best to just be fully aware and present as an observer. And take a moment to just see what it's like to observe. Really get a sense of what observing is. Take the time to notice its touch, the way it feels, the way it tastes, the way the description fits for observation. Maybe put yourself in a position where your perspective is to observe from a distance. Starting from this distance, it would be like you being on the ground and looking up at the clouds. There's a long space. Right now, imagine that your feet are the clouds. See if you can be an observer and what that means for you. Now imagine those clouds are beginning to settle a little bit closer towards the ground. They're still moving, but notice how the perspective changes just a little bit. And as you breathe in and out, see in your mind's eye if you can feel a little bit closer to your feet. Maybe they're not so distant in the sky, so far away, but they're starting to come down a little bit. It's almost like you can touch them. And just observe this. It's so close now that even as you inhale and you breathe in and you exhale and breathe out, a little bit of the air from the breath out actually taps the cloud. And you can see it dissolve just a little bit and then come back to. It's almost like a touch of a gentle wind. Notice what that perspective's like to be that close. But continue to remain being an observer. Throughout this practice, you'll notice different thoughts arise, and there'll be different types of thoughts. When a thought comes up for you, notice the thought and see if you can continue to be an observer. You're welcome to label it with one word, no more, just one word. Some thoughts are worrying thoughts. Some thoughts are to-do thoughts. We'll consider to-do a word. We'll let that one be a task thought. Happy thoughts. Nostalgic thoughts. The amount of labels could be endless. I don't want you to get caught up in the label, but see if you can take that moment to just put something there so you understand it and what it is from a distance. Whether you're close and can almost blow on it with your breath, or it's distant from you, far away, like the clouds in the sky. Continue to breathe in and out on your feet. And notice this process of allowing for whatever's there to be there, whatever thought is there to be there, labeling it and then not observing it, doing your best to not become attached. On the next inhale, we're going to come to our ankles. Just sit there for a few moments with the breath, following the breath from the nose to the ankles, and from the ankles back out through the body, through the nose or mouth. And just stay steady here for a few moments and then allow whatever manifests to be there, whatever thought manifests. It can come in the form of impressions. It can come in the form of images, movies, sounds, even blank spaces that just seem to have a sense about them that you notice and recognize. And allow your cloud to be there. However this thought comes to mind, whether it's distant or far away, let a cloud be representative of that particular thought for you, just right now. So you get a sense of how close it is. Likely the closer the cloud, the more dominant the experience is. The further away, likely the more distant. So just take stock in that thought, noticing where it is in perspective. And as you breathe in and out, you can give it a label. Once you understand it, give yourself the opportunity to use the breath to help you to understand. And the way we understand is through listening. Observing. Take about 2 breath cycles here. Now we're going to move up to our legs. We're going to do the lower leg from the ankle up to the knees. And you notice this. Notice all parts of that body. The muscle, the bone. And as you keep your focus here and it's shifted, see if you can continue to use your breath to breathe. To stay focused and anchored on this part of the body, listening and understanding as you observe what's there, what thoughts come up. And as we begin to come up through this body scan, I'm going to give you more and more time to do it on your own. The guidance will become less and less, but it'll still be the same directives. So try to find a process that works for you in this time. Make it your own. Next, we're going to come up to our thighs, from our knees to our hips, covering the full length of the thigh. Allow the breath to breathe into this space. You can almost think of it as almost being hollow. The cylinder shape helps to allow the air to be fueled, the breath fueled all the way to the knees. It's almost like a fire is lit. Allow whatever's there to be present. If you like to use a cloud to where your thought is, you can do that to be representative of it. And try not to adjust it. If the cloud is somewhere in midway, try not to bring yourself closer to it or further away. Just be an observer right where you are, allowing the cloud to guide you, listening so you can listen to the cloud and understand the cloud right where it's at right now. No control. Breath by breath, moment by moment. Just observing. And 2 more breaths. We're going to rise up now. Coming towards the hips and the sits bone, the lower pelvic bowl area. We're where you can actually feel the physical effects of the rise and fall of the breath in the belly, the lowest part of the belly. And in this whole space, just continue to sit, bringing the breath here intentionally. Observing, listening until you understand what thoughts are being presented. Again, you're just observing. Whether it's something you like or you don't like, it doesn't really change this act of observing. And if the mind wanders, which it likely will, bring it back to the breath and just come back to that place on your body. And if it shifts to something else, just observe that. That's important as well. Sometimes clouds and thoughts come to pass. They don't stay in their same shape, they alter. Images, impressions, motion, colors, all of that is ever changing, it's fluid. And see if you can be open to that part of this process as well, as an observer. And maybe even give yourself a little bit of compassion to be able to deal with such a thing. Give yourself a little bit of credit. Because change can be difficult, be frustrating, especially if it's before you completely grasp and understand what's there. But just trust the process. Trust your thought process. Trust yourself as part of this thought process. Next, we're going to come up to the full length of the belly and allow our awareness to also travel around our back body, the lower part of the back. Noticing what's there, whatever comes to mind first, whatever thoughts there that you label. Listen until you understand as you observe. Breathe in to anchor to the belly. Breath by breath. Notice your cloud. Be curious as possible here. It's okay to be curious. It's even okay to be a little bit creative in how you go about managing this process. You can use your imagination to help you as part of your anchoring. You can also use your emotional body if you like, or your physical body. Next, we're going to come up to the chest, from the windpipe to the shoulders and back down to the mid part of that back body. Any place that we feel the breath touch on our inhale and exhale, allow that to be part of this particular practice in your back body. You can begin now with that process of observing. allowing what's ever there to be there. Using your breath moment by moment to help you listen until you understand without feeling the need to adjust or attach. And remember, whatever those thoughts are, start to breathe. Continue to maintain some distance as an observer, no matter how close it's to you, no matter how far away it is to you. And from the shoulders down to the fingertips, allow your awareness to travel, noticing what's there from the top of the arm to the bottom of the forearm, where the wrist is, connected to the hands, the palms, the knuckle of the palm, the full length of the arm, both your right and your left. And just notice and guide yourself through this part of the process, moment by moment and breath by breath. Next, we're going to come to our throat, our neck body, the full length of the neck, the front, the back. Allow the breath to travel through the throat, noticing it as it makes its path down into the rest of the body. And if you swallow just for a moment, that'll help you also to become more aware of all the miraculous things that your throat body does. And if you were to hum, you can actually even also hear your vocal box and feel it. And as you're here, continue on with the process. Allowing whatever's there to come up for you and going through the process to completely be okay with what's there as an observer. Without feeling the need to act, control, change, or fix. Next, we're going to come up to the face. Notice each sensation that's on the face and each part of the face that supports your senses. See if you can breathe in and out and allow it to be filled up here with your breath. Also notice where your tongue is. If your tongue is touching the top of the mouth, maybe give yourself permission to kind of let that go and allow your jaw to be loose. If your eyes are pinched, see if you can soften them. If your hearing feels blocked in any way, maybe let down your guard, knowing that what you hear does not necessarily mean it's your belief. It's just a way of listening to get understanding, to share and support, to garner wisdom. And you're free to make your own opinions and assumptions at all times. It's your process. But the act of listening is to just listen. The sense of smell, and anything else that's here in your face, allow it to be. And whatever thought comes up, address it by being an observer, listening and understanding as you sit with it for a few moments. Maybe allowing your cloud to be here at this perspective. You notice it, but continue to breathe as you do so. Yes, we're going to move to the head, the full length of the head, from the crown, around the hairline, all the way to where the nape of the neck ends. And just see if you can notice the weight of the head sitting on top of your neck and your neck on top of your shoulders. And your shoulders supported by your mid-body. Your mid-body supported by your sits bone. Your legs, your feet also supported by the ground beneath. And notice this interconnectedness all the way up to the head body. And use your breath to anchor to where your mind is in your head. And see if you can just notice what's going on at this moment, what sticks out about that. Allow it to be. All the way to the crown of your head and your consciousness. And what's being presented to you in this present moment experience. Nothing more, nothing less but this present moment. Breath by breath and moment by moment. See if you can be an observer, listening, understanding. Completely letting go of your own innate response to want to control. Said, using the pause in your breath to help you to maintain this stopping point, to refrain from this need to control or change. Allowing each breath to be moment by moment. The process still unfolding as an observer. I'm going to ring the singing bowl. Continue to observe from the head now down to the feet, yourself in this present moment, the space around you, how you feel, your thoughts, as you continue to be part of this practice as an observer. If you like to continue meditating, you can do so as long as you like by turning off this recording or leaving this session. Otherwise, we will close together. When you're ready, see if you can intentionally take a few breaths with a sense of compassion as you come out of this practice. Congratulating yourself on a job well done, knowing that you did the best that you could do for each part of the practice and each part of this process. Also giving yourself the opportunity to learn, to be part of the experience in a way as an observer, rather than an enforcer or a controller. Start to wiggle the toes, wiggle the feet, wiggle the fingertips and the hands, maybe circle them a few times and open the eyes. If you like to stretch, stretch. And I'm going to close class with a namaste. I thank you so much. I appreciate you and hope you have a beautiful, blessed day. Thank you. Namaste.